Hello, and welcome to another episode of Industrial Amputation, where you can always expect the unexpected. Today, we have with us a remarkable artist. He was formerly in Gene Loves Jezebel and Human Drama. In 2018, he formed his own band known as Beauty and Chaos. We are very happy to have with us today, Michael Ciravolo. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
Welcome,
guys.
Michael.
I thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Of course.
excellent.
So in February, you released Signs in the Heavens, Reality Upside Down, which is a 29-track reinterpretation of your previous album, Dancing with Angels, featuring remixes and two covers. I really enjoyed hearing that, and an album reimagined with 29 songs for release is by no means a small feat. What made you want to pursue that endeavor?
Or a short listen. Uh, the whole reimagine thing, we've been doing that after each album. When we did our first record in 2018, Finding Beauty in Chaos, uh, it happened by accident, and some things do happen for a reason. And if you got the quick story, Tim Palmer, who mixed a lot of the Mission records, first chapter, God's Own Medicine, everything. I met him through Wayne Hussey, and he's always been one of my favorite producers. So I just said, "Hey, would you consider mixing a song, doing this project?" Blah blah blah. He said, we'd had a few drinks. He said, "Absolutely, mate."
Yeah,
So Wayne was going to sing them, so I sent him two tracks. But when we were doing that record, I kind of put these little like put us in a little some limitations on this record because why I was doing the record, and it was one, it was going to be I was going to do all the guitar, and the second one was that there was going to be no keyboards. I was going to wrangle and squeeze and manipulate guitars to make all the sounds, very
wow.
un-guitar sounding. So in my excitement that Tim said yes, he would mix it, I sent him the two tracks. About a week or so later, he sends them back, and this extra guitar and some keyboard stuff, which worked absolutely great. But it kind of it put me in a position to sit there and tell one of my favorite mixers and producers in the world, "Hey, fantastic, but uh, could you take your keyboards and guitars out to
Oh man.
mix?" And it's like, I'm going, I can't do that. So that just
Oh,
gave me the idea that we maybe there's a remix record after this, and it's each of our
right.
records we followed up with doing that. And it's actually I find it kind of therapeutic after
Yeah,
being so buried into doing a record to just kind of hand the keys over to somebody and go, "Hey,
yeah,
here's the songs. Use as much of the original or as little of it as you want. No limitations, and it's kind of it's a great feeling like Christmas morning to have mixes come back and go, wow,
yeah,
that's kind of cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. And the remixes run the gamut from acoustic to
yeah.
full-blown EDM and
That's
everything
fucking
in
awesome,
between.
man.
So
Yeah,
Signs into Heaven is just the fourth one that we've done, and uh, it is a counterpart to Dancing with Angels, so it
yeah,
has all those songs, and uh, there's a couple of acoustic versions or almost acoustic that I think are just wonderful on it. And as it spilled into being a double CD, I
yeah,
went, okay, it's still some time on the second one, and it kind of gave me the idea to do the two cover songs, and that was about as political as I would ever let this project get. And
yeah,
by political, I mean it just had a message to tie into the
yeah,
cover. And
for sure.
so yeah, that's how that this
I
whole
love that. I love that so
transpires.
much. Yeah, to go back
So
and let somebody else kind of get in there. I do that with paintings. When I finish a painting, I'll take the palette and just smear it on another canvas and see what happens.
yeah, that's
I consider it letting fate use my palette to do something after I've
that's
done something,
that's
and
absolutely wonderful.
and I typically tie those pieces together, and they're. But yeah, that's fucking awesome.
I think you would probably both of the last two records have paintings as covers, and it's
Yeah,
a friend of mine in Germany, a woman named Maren, and it it kind of had this underlying theme of angels that I think
Yeah.
tied both records together and made them sonic and visual companions.
Yeah.
But to me, I always try to look at our records. I look at them as records. I still have that thing. I
Yeah.
want them to be like a 12-inch. I want the
Mhm.
cover. I want the running order. I want all that to mean something.
Yeah.
And we probably toil over what song should start the record and end it a lot more than I think matters in today's world of,
I
hey,
do.
I'm gonna skip through everything and
Yeah.
I have this romantic notion of someone giving the record at least one uninterrupted listen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
would
That's
be,
the way it should be, man.
but
Honestly.
it,
I
it,
mean,
it
I don't
music,
know.
yeah,
I,
music's become background, and
yeah.
that is kind of shame. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes when we do these long releases, or if Dancing with Angels has these like little sonic, like instrumental interludes that tie, we call them halos. So
Okay.
it between each song, it kind of fades out and into a musical piece that makes it this one long listen. And for a
Yeah.
short moment, as just kind of a middle finger to everything, I thought about just having the CD be one track. When you
Yeah.
put it, it's one like a 76-minute track, and
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
There you go. But
I
I
I
do
see
enough.
that online every once in a while where somebody's like, "Hey, name an album that you can listen to from start to finish," and I'm like, "Well, I don't fucking get that. Why do you mean an album? All albums should be listened to from start to
Yeah,
finish. I mean,
absolutely.
the artist puts so much into the direction of something like that. I mean, sitting on your bedroom floor with the fucking needle on the record and
Yeah,
sitting with your liner notes and going through it and looking at the artwork and smelling the fucking
yeah.
thing. It's
I
a
can
whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, I can roll myself back to being a kid and actually smell the record store when you walked in, and it's
Oh my
most of
God,
them are a
yeah.
little bit like head shops, so they had the
Yeah.
jewelry and everything, and it was
Yeah.
just the posters, and it was really cool. So I always look at something as like that's the needle drop song. That's what I
Yeah.
want to hear, and then
Hmm.
I want the bookend. But we weren't able to do Signs in Heaven as a double CD. The little
Yeah.
label was like, that's insane. And it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
So that was a CD only. But to me, when you get an out, I love, we've done of our studio albums on vinyl. And to me,
Yeah.
I think if someone gets a piece of vinyl, that 12-inch beautiful platter of plastic, and you
Yeah.
put that down, I think you probably have somebody's attention for that one side, that 18 to 22 minutes. I
Yeah.
think if they go through the process of taking the record out and putting it on, they're
Hmm.
probably going to sit and listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Maybe, at least in my
It's a
head, they
great way
do.
to unplug from the world for a little while, man, and plug into yourself. I mean, you just connect with the music, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's and yeah, it is. This is fucking fantastic for it. So, Joey, I think you had a follow up.
Yeah, with 29 songs, is it difficult deciding upon their order for each piece to flow into the next?
On that record, I think it was once we knew it was going to go become two CDs, I kind of wanted the first, like Dancing with Angels was 8 tracks. So
Yeah.
I think I decided let's do the first 8 songs on both sides in running order of the original of Dancing with Angels. So Signs in the Heaven, the first two CDs, the remixes run just like the original album. And then I just kind of filled in the songs around it and then decided like to end the second CD with the two cover songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little difficult when it's that, but going into it, I knew we would the first 8 on each side would just so if someone that really listened to Dancing with Angels, then they listened to the remix, the running order made sense. But as we just talked about, if somebody puts a CD in and goes shuffle or they
Yeah.
go online, it's all that goes right out the window. And I mean, then you see the unbalanced thing of, oh, that song got, 1,500 streams and this one got
Yeah.
4. And
Yeah.
so I, to me,
Yeah.
there was I don't pretend to understand the algorithm or really give a shit about the algorithm.
Yeah.
So
Algorithms on point. I don't remember where I heard that. I think it was a what was that? The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, where she calls it the Al Gore rhythm.
that's
And I
actually
was
pretty
just like, that's
pretty
fucking
good.
brilliant. But awesome, man. So there's this. Sorry, I missed. I inadvertently put the thing down too fast. Joey, you want to hit the next one? Because I put my sheet down.
You're good. So for these two releases, you worked with many incredible artists, such as William Faith, Mark Jemaithwaite, Ashton Knight, and quite so many more. Can you talk about what motivated you in wanting to record with some of these musicians, in addition to what they bring to the table for you in your songs?
On this record, I mean, uh, when we did the first record, uh, I mean, for a short moment, it was going to be my solo record, and thank God it quickly changed because it would have been one and done. I hate guitar players, self-indulgent records like that. I'm not that kind of player. I don't even
Yeah.
think I would listen to it. So it kind of morphed into something special. I think it became this entity, and that I just happen to be the ringleader of. Uh, and Ashton, who's become a very dear friend, uh, the first two songs we were recorded for that record was the 20th Century Boy, which was a cover, and we had Al
Yeah.
Jorgensen sing. And the second song was we had Robin Zander sing, and it was called
Yeah.
Drifting Away, which happened to be a song I had from an older band. And it was just me going, okay, I said I'm gonna do this record. Now I got to get into doing it. And it's a bit daunting. And then I sent them the first piece of music that was written specifically for that first record to Ashton, and as the song Storm came back, and that was such a defining moment.
Yeah.
Uh, and Ashton,
Ashton's
I think
brilliant.
this is, yeah,
He's a
this is
brilliant guy. No.
I think his fifth song on that. So going into this record, uh, you know, uh, that record had a lot of, I guess, famous names, and I think if you look at that, it's kind of an odd mixture, but it works. I always look at it
Yeah.
going, if everybody was sitting around a dinner table, wow, this is an odd mix to
Yeah.
have Jorgensen
Yeah. You
and
got fucking Rob
Ice-T
Zander, man.
and
Fucking
yeah,
A.
yeah,
Wow.
that was pretty. There's so many surreal moments, and
Yeah.
that was one of them. But having Robin Zander, then Wayne Hussey, and then Michael Aston and John, it's
Yeah.
like some of these people that wouldn't have Simon Gallup, that wouldn't have
Yeah.
really like how are they all fitting together? But somehow that worked. So I realized then I couldn't let Beauty and Chaos become just a who's who. Like,
Yeah.
who are you going to get now? How do you
Yeah.
one up yourself? And part of me goes, I don't know if it gets much better than Robin Zander or Simon Gallup. So
Yeah.
I set out to try to get other people because I've done this long enough that I do know that fame does not always equal talent, and
Yeah.
talent does not always equal fame. So the
Yeah.
idea of finding and somebody will, introduce, like Mark Thwaite introduced me to Ashton, and then
Yeah.
you know, some another friend introduced me to William Faith, and it just kind of it unfolds like that. So this record going into Dancing with Angels, I kind of wanted to go back. I in my head I went, let's kind of go back to a few alumni, which was certainly Ashton, Wayne Hussey,
Yeah.
then find some new people to be part of this. So you
Yeah.
know, I do get asked a lot, like people go, "Oh, you're so great at matching somebody to the music," and I mean, well, thank you for the compliment. I don't know if it's divine intervention or luck or
Yeah.
something, but when Michael and I do a piece of music, it is just a piece of music. And
Yeah.
till the singer takes it and they put their heart and soul into it and the
Yeah.
words and melody, then it becomes a song. And
Yeah.
it is a true collaboration. So I've been really, well, the project, uh, Beauty and Chaos, has been really fortunate to somehow find the right person
Yeah.
to turn his music into something, and to be touched by that and be inspired by something to write what they do. So it's I've given up asking how it happens and just thankful that it does.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be, man. It's yeah, because it is beautiful. I saw the video last night with Wayne and Cynthia Hussey on I can't remember the name of the track. But
Diving for pearls.
yes, Diving for Pearls, and absolutely fucking phenomenal. My roommate came in while it was on, and she comes over and she's like, "Who the fuck is this?" I'm like, "This is who we're going to
Yeah,
be talking
that's
to tomorrow. This is Beauty and Chaos, and this right here, this is Wayne Hussey from The Mission, and this, you know." And she's like, "This is fucking beautiful." I'm like, it's a really beautiful song." She's like, "Okay, hold on, let me get some." So I think she went and ordered your ordered the album yesterday. So, um,
yeah.
uh,
I'm really proud of that. That video turned out wonderful. And I do bitch a lot about technology and what the harmful side of it, but technology does allow, like Wayne did his vocals in Brazil,
yeah,
uh, happened to be in Los Angeles when we to I think the Mission were playing Cruel Fest or something, and he
yeah,
had the day off, so we were able to go in the studio and shoot that video. But Cynthia wasn't here, so the
yeah,
technology allowed her to shoot herself in Brazil. And between our the two people I continue to work with Industrialism Films, helped blend Cynthia into it, and it just made this I think gorgeous version of that song,
yeah. No,
very
it's
catchy. And especially when I sent it to Wayne and he does his usual, I think he's given me the spiel before every song. Whoa, Michael, I finished a book because he's read this, he's got two books and it's like
yeah.
so many words, and I've just finished a mission record and this and this. I don't know if I'm empty, but send it to me anyway. And then 4 days later, this guy writes Diving for Pearls. And it's like,
Fucking A, man. Yeah, no, he's one of the greatest lyricists on the planet.
yeah.
He really
And
is.
that
Holy
is
shit.
absolutely beautiful song in its
Yeah,
simplicity, but it does go through this very cool story. And
yeah.
yeah, that's probably my favorite. It's hard to say favorite song, but that was, I
It's
think, a song given if it was 1985 or 86 and it was still MTV, I think that would have been
oh my
in
God.
what they
Yeah.
called it, heavy rotation.
Fucking epic. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, that's awesome, man. So working in California with William Faith, I know you have some connection through Shameless Promotion PR with my dear friend Stefan Salit of Octavian Winters. You're both absolutely amazing guitarists, and I cannot help thinking what an incredible billing that would be. Are you going to be touring this? And have you played any shows with your PR mates, or would you consider maybe doing that?
When I started this, it was going to be a studio and visual thing. I think that the video that just came out Wednesday, the remix of Hollow, is our 29th video, which is
Yeah,
insane. Uh,
it's beautiful. Yeah,
but so to me, that's always been the face of the band, that the band or this, I never know what to call it. It's not a band. I hate the word project. I
yeah,
just look at it, an entity. It's this
yeah.
living, breathing, revolving thing.
It's a
Uh,
thing I'm doing right now.
that,
Yeah,
that's suddenly I blinked and I've been doing almost 6 years.
yeah,
I don't, I, I, I talk about it a lot. Talk about it with my wife, and a couple of people will ask me that, and it's just like, I'd hate to see this end without putting it on stage.
yeah.
Uh, I would never do it without the singer that sang the song. I've had some people go, hey, just, learn them and, get Ashton. He can sing all the songs. So just get a singer. And it's like, to me, that cheapens what we've all done
Mm,
here. If
I
we were
feel
ever to do this, it would be a production. It would require the
right.
person who sang the song and then probably, certainly one, if not two additional guitar players, and God forbid, some backing tracks. Uh, it,
Yeah.
it may happen. I keep thinking how, when, and where. The
Maybe
how,
something
I
more
think,
for the festival circuit, where you can do a like a
yeah,
one-off in some place
yeah.
where you
It,
can actually logistically get everybody together.
Yeah,
That
it
would
would
be amazing.
probably end up being a one-off or a two-off, and you know, I, I live here, but I would never do it in Los Angeles. I go to
Yeah.
shows here, and I don't know. I
Well, we'd love
despise.
to see you in Seattle. Just saying.
It's probably people in Seattle probably listen to music or listen to music. LA is like a sea of phones, talking, and it's just, I mean, with human
Yeah,
drama and even with Gene Loves Jezebel, we've played Mexico quite a
yeah,
bit. And those people down there are just they they immerse themselves. You rarely see a camera in the air.
mhm.
They even though English isn't their first language, they're singing the words, and then when
That's fucking beautiful.
they you talk to them after, it's just so heartfelt. And in Los
Yeah,
Angeles, it's like this. Oh, can I get on the guest list? Or well, what time? I mean, it's like such bullshit.
I know.
Uh, So to answer your question, maybe I don't think we can do this as a tour. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, I guess I would have to stop and go, let's now work on doing this. But Michael and I are already three
yeah.
pieces of music into the next record.
Oh, right on, man.
It
Spoilers, yeah.
it doesn't
That's
seem to
fucking
stop.
incredible, dude.
We finished a
Congratulations, man.
thank you. We finished
Yeah,
another video for the almost acoustic version of Made of Rain with Ashton Knight and Whitney Ty, who's done a song on Behind the Veil. Great voice.
yeah,
She sang a lot of the backups on Children of the Revolution and Open Your Eyes.
yeah.
She duets with him on it. So we have a video of that that's coming out June 18th. That's your spoiler. It's my late mom's birthday. So I said I'm gonna
Right on.
put it on that. So
My
we have
condolences.
that
Yeah,
ready to come out. But yeah, Michael and I just I don't know. I don't know what else to do. It's like we finished this and we did that. Then it's like, hey, what day you want to work? Oh, we'll go in. You know, Michael had just finished up the ministry. He's produced or co-produced with Al the last couple of ministry records. He did
yeah.
Squirrely Years, where they
Yeah,
go back
Squirrely
and
is
do
coming
like
up. Yeah.
Twitch and With Sympathy. So he's that's done. So we have the time, so we just jump back in.
That's fucking awesome. I am so excited to hear more of that. I really am. That's great.
So
So
now the hunt begins to do that matching again with
yeah,
listening to something and go, wow, this might be good for so and so, or I don't know who this will be good for, but it just seems to happen. So
yeah,
I've put out some feelers, for some new people, it's just somebody that just puts heart and soul into it. That's not about trying to be something they're not,
yeah,
just somebody that's honest in a delivery. Because like I said, the singers do their own lyrics, their words. It's no one makes money in this. I mean, no one makes money selling or making records anymore,
yeah,
which is almost makes it even the project or entity more beautiful because it's about the love of the creation as opposed to, wow, if we do this, we can probably make some. I mean, that's not happening.
yeah. No, I appreciate it. Art for art's sake, man. That's what this show is about. Artists supporting artists, trying to get that stuff out there, and you're doing a great fucking job with it. So
Thank you. It has been that somebody, one person like on this last record, Julian, who did Kiss Me Goodbye, brought in Leo, and in that the um, in Dancing with Angels, Leo's this voice that just he's got this incredible range. He almost parts it's like wow, that's almost like a bit like placebo, and it's got this Bowie thing, and he's sandwiched between these big baritone voices of Julian, Ashton, and Wayne, who have
yeah,
that big, got not to say gothic, but like it's just
yeah,
big. And then Leo's got this incredible range. So he introduced me, brought that person in, brought Leo in, and I just trust, faith, divine, whatever's going to happen, I will find the right people. You know,
yeah. Well, it's certainly clicking for you. That's for damn sure, man. Joey, you want to take this next one?
Yeah, as you mentioned, last week you released a beautiful video featuring Cynthia Isabella for the song Hollow, known as Crimson Cupid mix of that track. And it comes across as a surreal fever dream accompanied by beautiful orchestration. Hands-on were you with the concept of this video?
Actually, it was Cynthia and I's concept. I'll give you the background of this. When we were shooting Diving for Pearls, uh, we had this little psych wall studio that we rented not far from here in Sun Valley. And I had the idea, I said, wow, because like we knocked out the parts with the band and Wayne really quick, and I still had the studio booked for like another hour. So the original version of Hollow is on Dancing with Angels. So brought up my phone, we put it on. I had Vicente, I said, hey, shoot, Dirk, Tish, and I just playing that song just to the bare white wall. We took all the projection and everything off. So I had that footage. And then when we did this new version, which it is her vocal track from the original song, but Michael and I completely redid the music. Like the chord changes and everything are all different. So we had the footage. She filmed herself. She lives in Northern California. I think she did her footage on an iPhone. And with our editor, we kind of that it has a very 90s, like mid 90s look to it, which we did
Yeah,
purposely. It's like
yeah,
I wasn't reinventing the wheel here, but Cynthia and I, like when I met her at a show, uh, we talked after, and somehow we got talking about My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, Lush, all those that great, you know, part of time with when Creation Records was around and 4AD, and it was
oh
just
my
like
God, yeah,
these great bands coming out of there that just had this kind of odd psychedelicness and the wall of fuzz guitars, and the vocals were more orchestral than actually hearing every word.
yeah,
So just went, hey, this actually might be cool to do, even though we didn't play the version of the song to that version. We just slowed down and morphed some of it, and it was creatively cobbled together
yeah,
to do that. And it was really between her, myself, and Ryan Conlon, who's the editor. We sent him a couple of videos and he got what we were trying to do. And I kept going, slow it down. None of the guitars are going to match up, but that doesn't really matter.
yeah,
And he blurred out stuff. And yeah, it was fun. Like I said, not reinventing the wheel, but uh, it is sort of we stepped into a bit of a time machine that brought us back about 30 something years, and
yeah,
it was fun. And I always try to make each video extremely different from its predecessor.
yeah,
And this is night and day difference from Children of the Revolution and Open Your Eyes, that video
yeah,
with the chains, but in the
yeah,
fence and everything. It's really almost like two different. If it was a band, it's going, that's two different bands. But
yeah, yeah, a
I
little
think
bit,
that
yeah,
I think I really enjoy that. It's like, it's supposed to be fun, and
yeah,
doing videos maybe during some stages like a little chaotic, but
yeah,
it's fun, and I enjoy the end result. And I try to they're a little bit like mini movies to me, that we try to make them that way. And I'm really happy with the way this came out. And when the other video I told you about that's already shot, the Made of Rain almost acoustic, is
yeah.
completely different from both of them, you
Oh
know.
man, I'm looking forward to that. Now, speaking of fun and not reinventing the wheel, the video on YouTube right now with the two very impressive covers back to back, T-Rex is always relevant, Children of the Revolution, featuring Al Jorgensen, followed by a surprising rendition of Open Your Eyes, originally by Lords of the New Church. Both tracks, if I can speak to the continuing struggle between the haves and the have-nots, and the callback to sort of that mid '90s Ministry fucking cage, um, fucking
Yeah,
brilliant. But why are these songs specifically important to you on a personal level?
I I felt that just in the climate, everything is so divided, and if you look at the last two American US presidential elections, you're
Mm-hmm.
talking 51-49, and then 49-51. It's
Yeah,
that close, and
yeah,
it's so divisive. And I don't think just because someone's in a band or on a stage, they have the the right to preach at someone. I think
No.
music is escapism,
Mhm.
and you know, I mean, maybe if you're at a level of Bono or something, you're gonna get up on your soapbox and do something. The words, and I know that's not what Mark Bolan was necessarily with Children of the Revolution, was really a shot at John Lennon. If it that's actually asked that his
Yeah,
son
yeah,
Roland, and but I thought the lyric "You can't fool the children of the revolution" that always stuck in my head. And then when you look at that Lords of the New Church song, uh, I think about at the time it was all about, here we are, and it was 2024 when I was looking at doing it. We're really talking about nuclear destruction and dropping nuclear bombs and Armageddon, all that shit. It's like, really? It's not the late 50s. This isn't Doctor Strangelove, but as a species, we don't learn from history. We're destined to continue
yeah,
to repeat it. And then I sat there and I looked at the words again to open your eyes, and Stiv could have written that yesterday.
yeah.
It's just
It's a very relevant
about the
song.
media, the lies.
Yeah,
Open your eyes, see the lies right in front of you. It's
yeah,
like that was so poignant. It was
yeah.
like, wow. I
It's
mean,
incredible that we haven't learned anything.
no, absolutely will not. And again, it's not
Yeah,
political, just as
yeah,
a culture. It's like we can't, it's like do your own research. Don't listen to somebody on a screen or
mm,
something what they say, because it now there is no news.
no,
If you're left leaning, you're going to put on CNN and it's yay,
yeah,
burn the MAGA people, but they're evil. If you're right leaning, you put on Fox, and it's
yeah.
like left is this and Antifa
The
and
devil,
burning.
yeah,
It's just so you that's not really news when you can pick what you
no,
want to hear. And
yeah,
sadly, both sides lie. It's
yeah,
just
for
so
sure.
that was the point of that. And that to me tied in with the idea of signs in the heavens, reality upside down. Because I think things are really upside down. If we're still talking about, it's still Ronald Reagan and Star Wars, and it's like
Yeah,
all that stuff that's probably when Stiv wrote that song.
yeah,
And it was probably headline news then, Russia's got this many nukes and we got this and blah
yeah,
blah blah. And what's that, 40 something years ago?
yeah.
And it's
It is.
still
Yeah,
it I mean, it's scary if you read the lyrics to that song,
yeah,
like how not one is off base. So
yeah.
that was
I
my
know
point.
it's incredible. Yeah,
That's about that was the message that I wanted to get with doing the songs. That was the reason for the down American flag. To me, country in distress.
yeah,
An American. I love my country. I want us to be the white hats. Uh,
yeah,
Not always are. Uh, but it was also fun to do. I saw
yeah.
Ministry with the Cage, and
Hmm.
you know, and I sat there and I showed our video director. I said, "We're doing this." I showed him Scorpions "Rock You Like a Hurricane,"
Oh
which is
yes.
goofy. It's the
Yeah.
girls dancing. And then I forget which Nails video was. It's either Wish or Gave Up. I think it was Wish, you
Yeah.
know. And we didn't have the budget. I'm going, wow, if I can figure a way to hang myself and swing me, I go, we get to do that. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was just pure fun. We shot them back to back and set right
Yeah.
outside. We rented some fencing and yeah, it was fun to do
It's
that.
fucking awesome. It really is. It's a great video, man.
I
Have
think
you
Al
worked with Al
walked out here
before?
and he looked at the fence and I can tell probably went, I've done this before.
He's like fucking flashback. Have you worked with him before?
On the first record, he did I'm sorry, he did 20th Century Boy.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a great video of it that we did. That's where he and Michael, my partner in Beauty and Chaos, met. And Michael has been working with Ministry since. But yeah,
Okay.
came in and this is the second T-Rex song that he's done with us,
Right on, man. Well, you can't go
and
wrong with fucking T-Rex, dude. You just
no,
can't.
I mean, I keep throwing old videos that we did, but go back. We do. of we do a on the first remix record, we do a second version of 20th Century Boy, and it's with Wayne Hussey, who's
Oh,
he
okay.
plays guitar because of T-Rex or Mark Bolan, and we
Yeah.
have Mark's son singing it. Rowan Bolan sings it.
No
And you
way.
talk about
Okay. All
surreal.
right.
Rowan at we ended that video, and Rowan, me and Wayne are just standing here, and I in my head I can go back to the little black and white TV in my parents' house, like going and watching Mark Bolan on, I think it was Midnight Special or in
Mhm.
concert, and
Yeah.
then Rowan just sitting there and going, I think my dad would have really liked this, and it was just like,
Oh man. Wow.
that was pretty fucking cool. And I think Wayne felt it too
Oh
because
my
yeah,
God.
he's a big
Wow.
Mark Bolan fan. So there's been quite a couple of those moments like, how did this happen? How
That's
did this
fucking brilliant, man.
but yeah, that there is a book in here. I don't know if it would ever happen, but it's it's a cool story and it's not it's not about me. It's I think we've gotten there's been over I think I last counted was 60 something people that have touched this in some kind of way, whether singing on it, doing a remix, uh, doing the art, everything. It's really a family, and
Yeah.
I hope everybody is just as proud of it. I'm the one that sits and talks, uh, just because somebody's got to herd the cats.
Yeah.
It is. I couldn't do this without Michael Rozon. I wouldn't do it without Michael Rozon. And, it has brought some great friendships. Ashton, uh, Wayne, they've become really good friends. And yeah,
That's man. The power of art to really connect is it's an incredible fucking thing, man. And just thinking about the history of how that plays back. I mean,
I don't think I realized that when I first started playing. I think I got into it juvenile reasons. I got in because I went, wow, girls like guys with guitars. Okay. There's one Captain Obvious.
yeah.
And, and it became this chase of the almighty record deal.
Yeah.
And I think as you do it long enough and get a record deal and lose a record deal and kind of see behind the curtain at the little
Mhm.
Oz guy,
Yeah.
you go, this is all bullshit. And then when you start making music as art and for the sake of that and
Yeah.
going, all that matters is when I put the final thing on in headphones and I smile and Michael Rozon smiles and this
Yeah.
whoever the singer happens to be goes, this is beautiful. That
Yeah.
that that, that is the record deal. That is what I learned is the important thing. And I think I
That's
make
the nugget of gold right there.
music for
Yeah.
a totally different reason. And
Yeah.
I hate that it took 40 something years to come to that. At least it came to it because there are still people that are chasing this and they change who they are, how they dress, what they want to sound like. It's like I play guitar the way I play guitar. I plug into a bunch of pedals and what comes out if we chase that idea, that's what it is. It's like if you
Yeah.
paint, you pick colors, and my
Yeah.
little boxes are my different colors, and
Yeah.
throw it at the wall, and it's like, wow, that could be something there, and we
Yeah.
chase it.
Yeah. That's how a lot of my paintings go. I'll splash something on a screen and or on a canvas and turn it in a bunch of different directions until I can see something, and then I go from there. And I like that. That works for me. So
Well, I think that's real art, and I get asked like, well, who do you grow up listening to? And when I look back at like who I look at as guitar heroes or who modeled after. It's not the technical players. I love Mick Ronson. I love
yeah,
Johnny Thunders. I loved as a
Adrian
kid
Blue.
Joe Perry. And it
Yeah.
wasn't
Oh yes.
till
Oh my God.
till
Yeah.
later in life that I started really appreciating what Jimmy Page did in the studio and then
Mhm.
David Gilmour. It's like when I was doing that last Human Drama record, it was like, play like Gilmour, play like Gilmour. It's like, I can't fucking play like Gilmour. I really listened and I went, wow, this guy says so much with
Yeah.
a couple of notes. And I really tried to absorb that some. Uh, And yeah, so I think the idea of not having a technical lessons or going it, it's a hindrance, but it's also a gift,
Yeah,
you know. Uh, the lady that painted Marin that painted the covers, she was like, "Well, I'm not a trained artist, and I just draw and then paint." And it's like,
yeah.
so that's the charm. That's what drew me to what you
The
did. That
cover is
oh
fucking
yeah,
absolutely
it, it
stunning.
it's actually perfect and it
Yeah,
ties that. But I don't think if she would have been an art student that pondered and toiled over every brush stroke,
yeah,
I don't think it wouldn't have been real,
yeah,
and I don't think it would have fit. But the kind of coming from the heart,
yeah,
I think that's why it fit what we did, those two records, because that's all we got is coming from
yeah,
that.
yeah. Fucking
I'd
incredible.
like to know why you chose the entity's name to be Beauty and Chaos and how you feel that's an accurate representation of your music.
I'm sure glad I did, because I do think I didn't, maybe at that point it was, I'm trying to go back to where I was in my life or where it was in the world, but it was certainly the cover of our first record has our two daughters, which are my beauty. They're on it, and I put them in this kind of burned out building, and through the magic of Photoshop, we kind of morphed the two, and they're just getting dressed. Sophia's brushing her hair, and Nicole's putting on eyeliner, and they both in like long gowns, and I think I think in anything in your life there is any part that's chaos, you can find some beauty, and then also vice versa. And I think it just fit what we do musically. Like we'll have like a really pretty song with, echoey and, dream poppy guitars and everything. And then the guitar solo will get abrasive and
Yeah,
have these moments of dissonance and suddenly, or it'll go to a weird minor key that's like, wow, that's a little uneasy. And
yeah,
opposite way. We can have something that's heavy and fuzzed out, and then it'll just go to something that just lifts and sparkly. So I think in every song we have, it does have various elements of both, something beautiful and then something really chaotic. And I
yeah,
just think it's fitting, and I think it doesn't tie us into being anything. I know that first record because we had, Wayne Hussey and Simon Gallup and Ashton and Michael Aston from Jezebel and Johnny, the band I moved here with, and still one of my best friends from Human Drama, was like goth supergroup, and it's like it can't just be that.
yeah,
Uh, and I think that the title gives us freedom to be whatever comes out. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm sure glad that is however that came to me. Uh, it it immediately. It was that the title and then the cover. It all just seemed to make sense.
Thank you.
You're the president of Schecter Guitars. Mark Gemini Thwait was on and showed us some of the beautiful instruments. What goes into the craftsmanship of making a guitar, and why did you want to become involved in their production?
It was I always as a kid, I always loved putting together pieces of guitar, things and kind of painting them myself and trying to swap out a pickup and, ruin quite a few guitars. Uh but I always loved the idea of the guitar as a tool and a prop on stage, like something. It always felt right, even if I was singing something, to have the guitar on. And it just, happened to be at the right place in the right time. I worked at music stores. We moved to Los Angeles. I was again, that was the time Human Drama moved out here in late 85. So it was the dark wave scene was really big, but also the hair metal scene was big. That's where Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and those bands would, the labels would just gobbling them up. The second tier hair band, the third tier hair band, and we were never in that scene, thankfully. And it was still chasing that deal. And I had a job at a music store, and it was owned by just one Japanese gentleman who owned ESP guitars. He owned Musicians Institute, and he just passed away a couple of months ago. And the guy just offered me this chance. I started seeing that the the record in the music industry wasn't going to be the be all end all. My wife, she got pregnant with our first child, Nicole, and it was just an opportunity that was presented to me, and I was given the reins of Schecter, which was four people at the time, to kind of rebuild this brand, and somehow it worked. We have almost 60 people now, and it's creative. I enjoy it. I'm around it. I've met a lot of the people that are on these albums
Mhm.
through Schecter, and
Yeah.
ironically, they're all a big part of my record collection too. So it's a win-win thing. I use what we make. We have a lot of musicians that work for the company. So it's it it's a great day job. I know I've met people that, they struggle, they chase this pie in the sky. As soon as I get this deal, we're gonna this or we're gonna, and when that doesn't happen, or when they either have to bow out of it for home reasons or financial reasons or whatever, and they have to go become a pool cleaner or
Yeah.
a gardener, or I'm gonna have to go back to school in this. I've been blessed to kind of stay in the sphere of being involved in it. I mean, hell, it's got me where I'm friends with the guys in the Cure and the guys in the Mission, and it's like, I'm not name dropping, but I think it's the way we as a company run it, and our musicians. That I think attracts people to us. I mean, I love our guitar designs and everything, but I think it's the general attitude. Uh, because I look at and going, I don't. There's very few people I go, oh, he's an idol. Musicians are just whoever's famous just got luck. They stepped in shit, the right shit. And
Yeah.
granted, they're talented.
Yeah.
Some that are popular and not so talented, but you go, okay, something happened. They nice people, connection. However it happened, I just took that out of my life, and just I treat these people as friends, and
Mhm.
it goes the same way. And yeah, I still enjoy doing it. You know, I use what we make, and that it kind of works both ways. There was a part of time where I think I had like a 2 or 3 year period. Like sometimes when if something that is your livelihood, you do run into this danger of it being a widget.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, it's something you sell. I found myself going, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's like a metal guitar. I would never play it, but sure, it's got a cool name. Yeah, we'll sell it. It'll be great. And I started going, that kind of sucks. That's not why I tried to find that kid that just loved guitars. You
Yeah.
know, I used to have a flying V, like on it. This is so cool to have. And I think around the time Beauty and Chaos started, it kind of kick-started my love for the guitar
Yeah.
again. And now I bring in ideas of going, we're doing strange tunings, we're doing things with sustainiacs and all these, like what I try to do with the guitar in Beauty and Chaos. I get to kind of make it for the general public, and I'm really thankful and blessed that that happens, and for Mr. Shibuya, who took a chance on a long-haired kid that had no business degree. I did 2 years of college, but was a guitar player, and he took a chance on me, and I guess in a way I took a chance on myself, and it worked, and it
That's
provides my family, and it provides for another almost 60 people, them and their family. So
that's freaking awesome, man. That's really awesome. Do you happen to be a luthier yourself? Have you built your own guitar or
no,
anything?
I'm not a woodworker. I'm more of the design. Let's try this. And I have a couple of really great guys that kind of can take what we work together well. Like they get inside my head and I can sketch something roughly and they kind of fine tune it and make it functional.
Nice.
Uh, but yeah, I would cut my hands off
Fair enough.
getting around the machine and stuff like
So,
that.
whoops, there
Yeah,
goes a
it's
finger.
uh
Yeah.
it's it's a good team and when something works and you know just like if the way I work with Michael Rozon, it's like he's got his forte in this and like I said, I could never do this without him. I used to, for a while, I was into Pro Tools and I did produce a couple of bands. I did Roz Williams' last album with Shadow
Oh, wow.
Project.
Yeah.
There was a
Yep.
while I was really into that.
That was the Shadow Project. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
him and Eva O.
Yeah.
But since
I did
then,
a
Michael.
video thing with him. Well, I was helping a friend who was doing the video when they were in Seattle for the Shadow
Oh,
Project. And
yes,
he
sweet
showed up
guy.
in a leather straight jacket and a skirt. And he was like, I need a favor. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, all right, I'm not gay or anything. I need somebody to hold up my skirt so I can take a leak. I don't need you to hold my dick.
That sounds like Roz.
So
But
I'm like standing in the bathroom with Ross Williams holding up his skirt while he's taking a leak. It was
yeah, you might have a book
a
there too.
bonding moment, like you do.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so Michael, he does that stuff so much faster, and it really allows me to kind of sit back. He's the mad professor on that, and it allows me to sit there with the tons of little boxes I got laying around, and he pushes me to be better than I am. He never settles. He knows when to go, wow, that first take was amazing. I don't know what happened or where that came from, but he also knows to do you can do that better. And he's actually taught me a little bit of theory, which I reluctantly go, bah, I didn't hear that, but he'll go, what you playing there? That, oh, you got an 11th on top. And in my part of me is like, on the fuck is he talking about? Oh yeah, watch this. Now I'm gonna put if I do this, is that a 13th? And he laughs. But we have a great
Oh my God.
we have a great working relationship and a friendship, and we have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's I mean, because sometimes I go in the studio after working Schecter, I do go, I'm president, but I go in at 9 o'clock. I try to do lead as I want my employees to do. We go in
Yeah.
and then I'll walk out the door at 5:01.
Yeah.
Our studio is in the Schecter Custom Shop, and I walk right down the steps across the parking lot in there, and I'm in there to 12 or 1 in the morning. So if it wasn't fun, it was a drudge, it would be a
Yeah.
real big one. But we have a blast, and I'll sit there. It's like, holy shit, it's 1 a.m.
That's
I wish we can
awesome.
just keep going,
Yeah,
but
man. So my bandmate Mark wanted me to let you know that he plays the Sun Valley Shredder Tella. So he's also a Schecter man at times.
very nice.
So yeah, he's
Yeah, those we did those kind of bright colors and a little
mhm.
not my cup of tea,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
yeah,
There is a reason we call it the Super Shredder. It is,
yeah. It's
that style guitar. And
it's a
I
nice
think
guitar.
the
Yeah,
great thing about, what I from the outside, I love to be able to step out like I do that with Beauty and Chaos and try to go, I want to listen to it as a listener, not being part of it. And I try to
yeah,
do that with Schecter. And I look at him going, for a guitar company to have that wide of a uh, artist roster, like we'll go from a Both, which about is heavy makeup, Norwegian. I think they're
mhm.
Eastern European,
Yeah,
the face paint and
yeah,
everything, and go completely to the other side of the coin and go Morris Day in the Time, and
yeah.
then
Right.
here Cheap Trick. but
Yeah.
then Avenged Sevenfold, Papa Roach, Disturbed, Motley Crue,
Didn't
and
Metalocalypse, the Death Clock, didn't they do a Schecter in on that
I
cartoon?
think they have it in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
we do
that's
bases much
that's a
to some.
well done, man. Well done. That's just,
Nikki Six plays our stuff. We did his flamethrower guitar.
oh
We did
wow.
we did the Machine Gun Kelly razor blade guitar, which I caught so much shit for that. And just like it's like I so one of somebody
Oh man.
would walk up and go, "Oh, you might want to see this," and it's like, you should tell the president of Schecter that he's promoting self-harm with this
Oh
guitar.
Lord. Oh
And it's like
Lord.
in my head, I've seen it. I'm a kid going, "Whoa, what's the Gene Simmons axe bass? What is that
Right?
promoting? Deforestation or beheading?" It's like, fuck, come on. It's a joke. And
Oh my God.
the Machine Gun Kelly, the Colston's actually a nice guy, and he's
Yeah.
playing guitar on the radio. It's
Yeah.
sure better than some of the other bullshit people. Okay, I
Fucking
won't go
right.
that, but yeah, it is a wide it is. I think that's real. I love that idea that we can if it was a music store and it was
Yeah.
just Schecter, we can almost cover every client coming
Wow.
in. We are
That-
known for the rock stuff, and yeah, that's kind of our forte, but we do a six-string bass that worship bands play. We
Yeah.
do electric 12 strings. We do, I mean,
Wow.
it's great. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of in a way what beauty and chaos is to me, that we can try different things like this acoustic version of Made of Rain. Roseanne plays gorgeous pedal steel in. It's
Oh,
just haunting. It's like this weird Daniel Lanois treatment of it. So yeah.
that's fucking
Oh, how I
awesome.
tied that right back.
Nice. Nicely done. So you brought in our friend Curse Mackey for the song A Kind Cruelty. The video filmed and directed by a lot of the videos. A lot of your videos are filmed and directed by Vincente
Yeah,
Cordero. Is that
yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Of Industrialism Films. Tell us working about Curse with this song and video, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely. Mark Thwaite and Ashton introduced me to Vicente, and I think when we were just shooting this last video, Vicente and I were going, it's like, how many have we done together? I'm going, well, this is our 29th video, and you've done all but, I said, you've probably done 24 of them. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So I was introduced. I
He's
don't know
a
if you know.
great eye. Just
Yeah, he's
Jesus.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't, do you know Steven Siebold from Hate Department?
Yes.
Okay. Seabold, who was on that record, and I'm hoping will be on the next one. I've always loved what Steven's done. He
Yeah.
introduced me to Curse, and we sent him that track, and thought he came back great. I thought Curse's lyrics were kind of twisted, but wonderful. And
Oh my
the
God.
first
So
time I met
beautiful.
him was when we got together to shoot the video. And we've become friends, and I would love to have Curse again, but uh, we found that this kind of cool, like bunker looking thing. I went on this site, Peerspace, and said,
Mhm.
shoot in a bunker. It's like, wow, let's see what that is. So we looked at that, and it kind of yeah, that video just laid out. We had the two fire girls in
Yeah.
it, everything, and
It's a great video. It's a great
yeah,
song. I mean,
yeah,
just the whole
yeah.
package on that is just fucking
And
fantastic.
and Tim Palmer did a really cool remix of that also, and there's a video for that.
Yeah.
Tish and I shot some stuff over at Schecter, and we morphed it with some of Curses. Like, I think during COVID, he might have done a couple of those live
Mhm.
Twitch TV things.
Yeah.
Uh, he was doing a kind cruelty in his live show, and so we kind of got the footage of him doing that, and we
Oh,
morphed that
cool.
into a video. I'll send you a couple of these that I talked to you about, the one with
Yeah,
Roll
please do.
and
Please
this one,
do.
Curse. But yeah, Curse was a great guy, and
Yeah.
his girlfriend, and everything. We just had a good time doing that video, and I've seen him a couple of times, and we definitely have talked about working together again. And I think this record will probably be the one.
Oh, right on. That's fucking awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know you
he's a
knew
fucking
Kurt, but
sweetheart.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah, that record, what's the storm, the calm before the storm
Home Before
has
the
both
Storm.
him and Siebold on it. Siebold
Yeah,
does a song called Almost Pure, which
yeah.
is
Well, you can't go
fantastic.
wrong when you've got Steven working on anything you're doing. It's just that guy's a
Yeah,
fucking genius.
he's off in the middle. I forget, he's
Yeah,
like in Ohio or Indiana,
something
someplace.
like that. Yeah.
They bought a old school, like
Hmm. Oh,
and
really?
yeah, like just like if you sat there and you oldschoolhouses.com and found this place out in the middle of nowhere that they have a gymnasium.
What
And
the?
like
Oh
if you
my
would
God, dude.
go back to your grade school and buy
Yeah.
it, that's kind of what they did.
Oh,
And they
wow.
turned it into, I think his wife does something with mannequins, like refurbishes mannequins for different displays. So at one point he
Wow.
sent me a picture. He goes, dude, we got like 150 mannequins in this gymnasium. It's freaky at night. I'm going, you think so? But he's got his studio set up in there. They have a like the playground from the school. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually there's part of it when that I could almost see living out in the middle of fucking nowhere with our studio,
No doubt, man.
bunches of
I'm
animals.
getting
Yeah,
thoughts now about I need to just do that.
yeah.
That's what I
So
need to
just
do. Oh
maybe
my
this
God.
maybe this will hold his feet to the fire. But one
Yeah.
of the three pieces of music that we got started, I sent to him, and he wrote back and said he really liked it. It's come along at a good point in his life, and he's already starting to sing. And he goes, "I even have a working title, but I'm not telling you yet." So,
Ah,
and fantastic. I really want him on this record. So
oh,
I hope he does it. I've been a
you
fan
heard
of
him, Steven.
Steven.
Get your butt
Yeah,
over here, man.
I've been a fan of
Kick it
Steven
in gear, my friend.
early 90s.
Oh, dude, awesome. So just back to Vincente real quick. Brings his vision to also to the video for your cover of Concrete Blonde's Bloodletting, a delicious piece of vampiric dark New Orleans. Um, you have his stamp on a lot of your videos, like we were saying. How did you come to work with Vincente and Industrialism Films?
It was Mark Thwaite and Ashton were doing the project that was going to be Gemini Night, and I think they ended up putting it out as Mark Thwaite or MGT,
MGT.
but they did God, I think what's the song called? All something things. I feel stupid. I'm not remember the name of it, but uh I think it was that they he did that video and Ashton brought him to the table and he did our first video September 2018. That's when the first
Wow.
video of Storm came out and we work really well together. Like the one you were saying, the Concrete Blonde thing. I'm from New
Mhm.
Orleans, and that song's always had a place in my heart.
Yeah.
And I kind of came to him sort of with that to me was almost like a mini movie because I did have almost a little script for this because there were a lot of
Yeah.
setups in that, and we shot it in a day and a half. I mean, when I say a day and a half, probably 8 hours total. Uh,
Yeah.
we set up a little area at Schechter. We have a little media room upstairs that I kind of turned into that dark wave club in the hallway and
Oh,
everything. I think
cool.
we've squeezed every inch of Schechter that we could to
So
shoot
I can go on
video.
a tour of Schecter by just putting
Yeah,
your videos together.
actually,
That's awesome.
if you ever come out there, you go, oh, you shot that there and you shot that.
And
But
that.
I mean, it's when
Uh,
you're trying to do, I mean, it has to be done on a budget. It has to be done quick and
yeah.
it has to be fun. You know, there's been a couple of things that we've rented studios through Peer Space and but it's all done guerrilla style and Vicente's got a really good camera. Uh his editor that we've been doing the last few with Ryan is fantastic and he listens to our ideas and he'll go, "Hey, what do you think of this?" and it'll work. But yeah, Vicente and I have a really good working relationship on that. And I think he actually just did the I know Rozon did, like I said, did the squirrel year stuff, and Vicente, by meeting with doing these videos with Al, just did Every Day's Halloween, the new
Yeah.
version of it. And I think there's another song, another video that Vicente did. I mean, most of his stuff is heavy and,
Yeah.
harder bands than us. So sometimes I have to like rein him a little bit. Like he's into that quick cut like that. It's like, hey, let's let the guy finish the line, but he likes the
Sustain,
yeah,
sustain.
yeah. I think sometimes he thinks that we stay on stuff a little too long, but we
Oh
find
man.
a happy medium, to make it work.
Oh, right on. That's fucking brilliant, man. So we're gonna get a little cerebral now. Your first memory of art having a profound effect on you, please.
First of what having an effect?
Of art.
It's going to be in my parents' room. We lived in New Orleans, 4313 South Carrollton Avenue, shotgun house. We had a little kitchen that was, shotgun houses just go straight back, back, back.
Back, back,
So
back, back. Yeah.
it was my bedroom, then a kitchen, and on the little kitchen table there was this little TV, and you know, I think Midnight Special or In Concert used to come on at like 11:30 or something in New Orleans, and it was sitting back there and watching Mark Bolan. It was T-Rex, and then the next week it was seeing uh, David Bowie with Mick Ronson, and Ronson with the Les Paul strung down, then seeing the New York Dolls. So it was that whole little period. I was probably 13, late, mid 13, which is kind of when I made me go, I want to do this. And I started looking through catalogs, like Sears catalogs and stuff, and there was like some guitar for like $45 or something. And me and a
Nice.
friend of mine, we both worked the rest of that summer, and we both went and got these two little guitars and had no idea. My parents were not musical. There
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of music in my house until I started doing that. My
Wow.
dear mom made me return the first Dolls record because they were in
Oh
drag
no.
cover. But she didn't know that I guess I outsmarted her because I recorded it, and I did return it for the I returned it for the second Dolls record that they weren't quite as feminine on the cover. But yeah,
Oh,
uh,
man.
it was that. It was then we just started rehearsing. There were a couple of girls in the neighborhood that would come watch us rehearse, and it was just like that's where that I think that was that dividing line of before that I wanted to play football.
Yeah.
I didn't grow 6'2". I couldn't run a 4.2 40,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, wow, this guy's got his hair long and they're screaming girls. I guess that was like Beatlemania to me, where
Yeah.
like suddenly someone's seeing that, it was watching that, and that light bulb goes off. And I don't remember it not being a big part of my life after that. Since then, it just seems that I've always been in a band, always somehow trying to make music, figuring it out. I think I had one guitar lesson in my life and never went back. It was like the guy was trying to show me ZZ Top or something. And it's like, I no, that's the guy with the beards. No, and just kind of figured it out the way I think a lot of people do. You watch stuff, it was before. Now it's a little easier. You can sit there and watch shit on YouTube, but I
Yeah.
would sit there with records and slow it down to try to figure it out. And it was fun. I think I was stunted musically by some of the
Yeah.
bands I listened to. Then I got into the Sex Pistols and the Clash and the Dead Boys, and I couldn't play Zeppelin or any of that stuff, but I could play, God Save the Queen.
There's
But
something
yeah,
to
that was the
that.
first thing. And uh, I grew up in New Orleans is a very musical city. I mean, it's inbred in the
Yeah.
culture there. And I think it took moving away and then and going back to finally go, wow, these people here, there's a rhythm in the street. They dance, they party to anything. You can walk down Bourbon
Yeah.
Street and see like, you know, a little black kid playing on a bucket and going, this kid's got more rhythm than walking by the whiskey and watching some clown with,
Yeah.
a 15-piece Tama drum set.
Yeah.
This Kids got rhythm.
Yeah.
It's real, and I think I kind of embraced my city again, which is kind of why it was important for me to do uh, bloodletting. And if you look on the Schecter guitars, most of them have the fleur de lis on the headstock.
Yeah.
I've kind of morphed that into the Beauty and Chaos logo, and to me, I have a tattoo of it.
Oh, that's
That's
fucking
my
cool,
nod
man.
to my city. You know, I still
Nice.
don't say I'm from Los Angeles because I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm from
Right,
New
right.
York. And
From New Orleans, man.
yeah,
Fucking great place. So your first instrument, what was it and why?
it was that guitar. It was.
Guitar. That's what I was thinking.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think what I don't even. It probably didn't have. It wasn't even like a Teisco or anything. It might have been a K or something. I bought it at I don't, it was a store called Leonard Crowler, which was probably similar to a Target now. They had a
Okay.
little record section. They had some music stuff. I don't think I could afford the one that was in the Sears catalog.
Yeah.
So we went in there. I got that. It had a tremolo bar on it, which I had no idea what that did. I was sitting there going, do you pick the guitar with it? I was cool. Uh,
That's awesome.
and
Yeah.
I just kind of stuck with it. I did it, figured out how to play stuff on one string. And then I think 6 months later, we were playing at some girl's birthday party. And I can't even imagine how awful that would have sounded like. It's like, I don't know
Oh
what we
man.
had as a PA. I think the microphone might have been plugged into one of our guitar amps that also had the guitar plugged into it. Uh, I could just imagine because we had this little,
Oh
in the
wow.
shotgun house, there was a little basement, and I could just imagine my poor mom listening to the three of us rehearse down there, not knowing. Remember the drummer Charlie, who's was in Human Drama with me, not knowing how to put the cymbals on. And I think the first practice we didn't have cymbals because we didn't know. Like there's this charm with being naive. But yeah, that was the first thing, and it kind of started this snowball going down the hill, and it just picked up speed. No longer wanted to be a football player. Uh, Still love the game, still love my Saints, but don't want to get out there and get run.
Fair enough. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. So you've worked with quite an array of talented people. What do you look for in a collaboration partner?
Somebody, usually I will listen to if somebody introduces me, like you ought to talk to this, so and so, like
Yeah.
when Steven said curse, we'll use him for. I only listened to a couple of his songs. I went back, okay, he's got a he's got a style, and then I listened to the words. I'm going, okay, he's got it means something. It's not surface. Like,
Right.
okay, there's some, to me, the best songs are where you can put yourself into it and where you think you know what the singer's means,
Yeah.
it may be completely wrong,
Yeah.
but you're able to do that. It's not surface. It's not like, oh, yeah, that's what it means. And the singer, yeah, of course that what it means. It's black and white. So I look for singers that aren't black and white as far as how they write the words, because
Yeah.
the singers do write them. I mean, I will give very little to them. Maybe sometimes it's just a title going,
Yeah.
hey, this record, we're calling it this. We're calling Dancing with Angels. A couple like William Faith took Angels a little bit, put a line. Patrick Mata from a Community FK
Yeah.
wrote a song about fallen angels. So they take what they want from it. But yeah, I look for, one that I listen to and going, okay, I like that voice. But more importantly, they write something, that I'm proud of or that we're proud of. I don't want rock and roll party lyrics. It's not what this is about,
Yeah.
I mean, once you work with somebody like, Wayne Hussey or Ashton
Yeah.
or Johnny Indovina that write meaningful lyrics, I mean that's kind of set the standard. I mean,
Yeah.
Ashton's lyrics in Storm, there was always a light. That
Yeah.
line is forever entrenched to me. What
Yeah.
the this positivity that I hope that we put forth in it. So yeah, it's somebody that is going to put heart and soul into it. And yeah, and I'm just blessed that when we give somebody a piece of music that inspires them to do something.
Excellent.
You have any words of wisdom for the masses out there struggling through the class war we found ourselves in?
The class war,
Yeah.
Mhm.
just stay positive, there's always a, a silver lining in something, be true to yourself, you know, fuck, I wish I can say get the fuck off of social media. I mean, didn't have that when I was growing up, don't listen to what people say behind that. If I used to have a problem with a kid or we were fighting over a girl, we'd go in the parking lot or the schoolyard. He'd punch me, I'd punched him. We'd shake hands, and that it's so different now. It's a different world. It's like kind of don't get ruled by technology. Don't get ruled by keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, at some point, it's like, fuck the Joneses. I have friends that are fucking uber rich and they
Mhm.
ain't fucking happy.
Nope.
They still have the same problems that somebody that's, a family that's living in a single apartment. Sometimes those people are happier, you
Yeah.
know, kind of be happy with what you're dealt. If you want something, work for it.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, it's, open your eyes. There are a lot of lies out there, and I think, don't fall for it. Most people have an agenda, and that sucks. It's why I love dogs. They
Ah,
have
yeah,
no
right.
agenda. Animals seem to just are loyal, and I think living in Los Angeles has not made me cynical, but distrusting to people. It's like
You
I'm
can
in a
see that. Yeah.
position with Schechter going, oh, somebody, oh, man, can you get, I'd love to get a couple of your guitars. And it's like sometimes you step back and go, and I don't know if I'm totally answering your question, but you want to go, would you even talk to me if I couldn't authorize a free guitar to you? Would you, and there are
Yeah.
people that are so tied into going, how many friends do you have on Facebook? Or somebody, oh, I'm your friend on Facebook. It's like, really? If my kid had a flat tire and I couldn't go, would you go?
Yeah.
That's a friend.
Yeah.
Would you even walk into some place? Would you even know who I mean, it's such a twisted world that we've created, where music's judged by streams and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess somehow block out that noise because it is truly noise. And I
Mhm.
guess in the point of, making music, if you're happy with it, that is ultimately what counts. If it's something that you are proud of, I mean, I'm so blessed that I can put on our record that we did in 2018 and go, I'm proud of that.
Right.
I can listen to our stuff different. I've made records with Human Drama and Jezebel, and for some reason I never listened to it like a casual listener. I never was able to put it on. I would always go, fuck, that snare drum's always bugged me. I wish it, or man, that guitar part, I wish I would have did this, or I wish it was louder, or something. It's like you don't do that when you listen to another song. It is,
Right.
you can have a bad recording of something and go, it's a great song. It wasn't till Beauty and Chaos that I've been able to pull myself out and have this look down going, I'm a fan of this song, and I'm sure as shit a fan of this singer that's on that. And
That's fucking
that's
awesome.
why I think I can listen to it. I don't put on Human Drama or Jezebel. I do listen to Beauty and Chaos. And sometimes my daughters will go, Dad, you listen to your own music. Is that weird? And I go, I guess it would be, but I don't look at it as my own music. And it's
Yeah.
hard to explain, but it is, I am fortunate. So spinning it back around. If you can do that and just listen to what you created and going, I'm proud of it and it is real. That is me. That is me at that time that I
Mhm.
wasn't trying to be something. I mean, because I told you when we moved out here, music, you guys being from Seattle, it's like here it was more obvious. Uh, that guys that were in the big heavy metal bands that were, like going, wow, did you hear that Guns N' Roses and got signed and then Cinderella got signed and now we're, fucking whatever the hell they're calling it, but we got the big manes of hair and got the singer in the spandex. And then when Nirvana and Soundgarden hit, it killed those bands overnight. And shocking, like a month later, if I would go out, I'd see somebody, and now the dude's got a flannel shirt on and a bandana or
Yeah.
something. It's like, didn't you just look like a girl? Yeah, I mean, was it, weren't you trying to be Nikki Sixx or
Yeah.
David Lee Roth last week? And it's just, that's fake. That's,
Yeah.
you're chasing something, and I don't think you ever find it.
Yeah.
And that's my story, and I'll stick to it.
I like that. I heard I can't remember who said this, but growing older is finally becoming the person you were always meant to be.
Yeah, I
And I
hope.
and I kind of like that I've been around long enough to kind of feel comfortable with myself. You know,
Yeah,
that's a
it gets,
that's a good
I
place.
mean, it's the mortality creeps in. I love
Yeah.
the new Cure record. It's
Yeah.
hard to listen to lyrically because Robert did write a lot about mortality. And
Uh,
as you get a 6 or a 5 or a 6 in your age, and you
mhm.
start going, so and so died, 67, Clem Burke died, 70,
Yeah.
Brian James. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, you start feeling you are in the back nine of your life.
Yeah.
And I think things become more precious. I think you put your time into something that means more. Waking up tomorrow is certainly not guaranteed. Uh, but yeah, I do think you should get wiser and you should try to be a little a little kinder and kind of leave your mark. And definitely when you become a parent, I think you want to, you know, show your kids something. And I think anything that I've done good or kind in this world is I think I learned from my parents. I something will go, do something and go, why'd you do that for that person? My dad would have did that. My mom would have did it. And I would love to to pass that on to my kids. That's something. But yeah, mortality certainly creeps in. There are times in doing Beauty and Chaos that I'm in the studio and I get these little moments of, I'm not at home with my wife and not at home with my kids when they live here or something. It's like I'm doing this, but then I'll get a text from them, "Hey Dad, how's it going over there? So proud of you." And it's like,
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I think uh, I think as they've gotten in their 20s, that suddenly it's cooler. Like this is, and I know I'm rambling, but I just went back to New Orleans last weekend, and I played with a band that I was in when I was 17. The first time I went on stage, I hadn't seen one of the bass player for 40 years. We
Wow.
rehearsed 3 times and we did this show. We opened up to some friends of, I don't know if you remember the band, the Red Rockers. They had a
Oh
MTV hit
yeah.
with China.
Yeah.
So they did that record, Good as Gold. They
Oh
asked us to
wow.
play. So we went back. We were good. I wish we would have been better, but the point of it was for fun. And
Yeah.
both of our daughters flew in and they were screaming. We did a cover of "I Fought the Law," and our youngest
Oh,
loved that song.
oh,
And
that's
it's like
awesome.
going, "Wow, this is kind of what it's about."
Yeah.
No longer is it like, I don't like my dad's music. It's like suddenly it's kind of cool to him.
Yeah. 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 My niece has been grilling me on the music I like lately. She's just turned 19 and we went out to see a movie the other day. We went out to the U District in Seattle. You know, she's younger. She's a little not nonverbal, but you know, she's a little sheltered kind of. And just my absolute pride and joy, this girl. And so we go out to see this movie. We go to this place that we used to that my sister and I, my sister and my other sister and I used to go to dance at, called the Underground. It's now a clothing store, and we go to get this food to eat. And there's these two street kids that come in, and you know, we're sitting there, and she's not going to eat all of her food. And these two street kids come in, and they get this little tiny box of stuff, and they sit down at the table. And one of them kind of jokingly goes, "Oh, what did you get us?" And and Jamie, are you going to finish your food? And she's like, "No." I went, "Do you want to take it back to the car?" And she's like, "No." And I went, "Okay." And I was like, "Hey, do you guys want this?" And and they were like, "Oh my God, yeah." So, you know, gave them the food, and I reached in my wallet and I grabbed a $5 bill out, and I gave that to him. I'm like, "In case you need drinks or anything." And, you know, didn't really think anything of it. Me and her get up to walk out of the restaurant. We get outside the door, and she goes, "Uncle Joe, you are such a good person." And my heart just fucking, that was one of the most special things I have experienced in a
That's
very long
fantastic,
time.
man. I think that's what
So,
we in this world, I think that's what we kind of need to do, especially us older people that didn't
yeah,
deal with the pressures of social media and how many you like and
yeah,
bullying of what are you wearing and labels and shit
yeah,
like that that I just seem to think is so important. But yeah, that's a
yeah.
fantastic thing
Yeah.
to
Then we
do.
went back to that dance club, that store. We went down in the basement. I grabbed a guy and I was like, "Hey, could you videotape us dancing?" This used to be a dance club, and her mom would really get a kick out of seeing her dance here. So we got a video of us being silly and dancing. It was a fucking great day. So
Yeah, I mean, our kids kind of went from hating what we listen to.
yeah,
Now, like, they'll make a playlist and it's like it's Depeche Mode. And it's like, Dad, did you ever hear this song? It's by Berlin. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, I know Terry, and Tish and I, your mom and I, we've played with
oh
Jezebel with Berlin. And it's like, oh, really? And they do like that music because I
yeah,
used to hammer them, going, there was this period that they loved that guy Drake, and it was just fucking atrocious coming. I'm going, guys, mark my words, you will not be listening to this next year. Oh no, I will. Oh, and they could care less. They're
yeah,
listening to, they'll watch the 80s movies and that's Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and oh, is that I remember y'all
yeah,
playing that song when and it's like so it parts
yeah.
stick. It's you just want the important parts to stick.
Yeah, yeah. Nina Hagen and Nine Stu's and Neubauten is what we were listening to on the way home. And she's like, "So what is your favorite Nina Hagen song? Which is your favorite Nine Stu's and Neubauten
Nine
song?"
stews, and that's an
Uh,
acquired taste for a
all
kid.
right, exactly. So yeah, it was that's fun times, man.
They
So
did I remember a show out there that Michael Rozon, the guy, he was very into that, more the industrial stuff more than I was. And there
yeah.
was a Heinz Stews show that they actually had these oil drums that they lit
Mm-hmm.
on fire, and the whole place just smelled like diesel. It was
Diesel.
fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
And I think I'd actually taken him at one point because we both loved the uh, My Bloody Valentine Loveless
Yeah.
record. And
Mm,
it was
that's a
one
good
of the
one.
times they came back like years later, but it was probably the loudest thing I've ever heard in my
Yeah.
life. And I've went to shows and I've seen Kiss and I've seen, you know, UFO and when bands, it
Yeah.
was about the volume in places, but this was, I mean, almost to the point of just, and you watch,
I've heard
I've
they
seen
put on a ferociously loud show.
it's if you there are some interviews if you go to of Kevin Shields, who now looks like a mad scientist. He looks like the guy in Back to the Future, but
Yeah.
he's got this brain that goes, there's a point when you're listening something and when it's at this volume, if you don't leave, you fall into this first you go into this trance and then what it does to these waves in your brain and it's like this whole like scientific explanation and part of me go it's just fucking loud but it I like it but the next day there was nothing in my brain other than my fucking ears ringing but
Yeah.
I mean people he scientifically there was a reason that they played at that level and
Wow.
I mean,
That's
that's still
insane.
one of my favorite records. That,
Well,
like,
need to
I'm
talk to the guys
yeah,
from Neurosis and find out if they have a similar thing because I think that's probably the loudest show I've ever been to is Neurosis. I didn't hear for like 3 days after that show.
I think metal bands just try to one up each other, you know,
Yeah,
where,
they're like,
uh,
screw 11, we're going to 12.
yeah, but yeah, there's definitely a reason that record is so groundbreaking. And like
Yeah,
Ein Susan, not everybody likes it. I'll put on Loveless, and my wife just doesn't get it. It's just
yeah,
like, you know, at first she didn't get that the vocals are kind of tucked under for a reason. It becomes
yeah,
like an instrument, and
yeah.
there's a thing like you start going where like understanding the lyrics of the Cocteau Twins. You know, it's like we know them,
I've
but
had people when that's playing, I've had people, are you singing along to the Cocteau Twins? I'm like, yeah. They're like, but there's no words. And I'm like, I'm not singing words.
yeah, there was that's that point where the 4AD creation thing where
Yeah,
it's most of the vocals became an instrument, you
yeah,
know, like another melody thing, and you do kind of your brain starts hearing words that may
yeah,
or may not be right. And
yeah,
probably at that time, if they didn't put the words in the liner notes, you'd have no clue.
yeah, yeah. Thank God for liner notes. So, Michael, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or promote today?
No, I always, when I get asked that at the end, I always ask that it, you know, one, support bands, not just this band. If a band makes music is not cheap to do. Spotify, that does nothing for a band. If
Yeah,
you, there is a joy in owning a piece of music.
there
And
really
again,
is. Yeah,
I'm not going buy our stuff. What I am asking, if you listen to Beauty and Chaos and you go, we'll take A Kind Cruelty. If you go, that's really good, dive into Curse's catalog. Guys
yeah,
made a lot of several albums really good. If you
yeah,
go, if you listen and you like the song Stranger, listen to Cat Leone's solo stuff, listen to her
yeah,
band Holy Wars. Uh,
yeah,
you know, each every artist that's on our that's come in and become entrenched and will forever part of this, they have a catalog and
yeah,
listen to it. That what I think is the beauty, the pay it forward of Beauty and Chaos. And it does work both ways. Like the Mission fans have become very welcoming to everything Beauty and Chaos. Ashton's Awakening fans
hmm,
have been very reciprocal as far as what we do.
yeah,
So it is this beautiful give and take thing. But I think every artist that's part of what we do has a story and has creates beautiful stuff on their own. It may be different than what we do here,
yeah,
but there is a diversity in what we do, and that is really important to me. That is being that this doesn't really, no one makes a penny in Beauty and Chaos. This is what how I feel I can pay forward to people, men, women that have put their heart, soul, and talent uh, into doing this. No one phones this in. No one's just like, oh, all right, he's asking me to do a song again. Bing, here you go.
yeah,
I've done this long enough that I can tell when you listen to something, it's like, wow, there's been thought put in this. And there's a
yeah,
sense of pride that I go, wow, this piece of music that Michael and I did pulled this out of this person. It put them into this head and heart space to open their mouth, and this is what came out. Or they put pen to paper, and that is what they wrote. And that's reward enough. But yeah, I ask that just dive down. You will find it's hard to find in today's world of so much music coming out and you're just inundated. Here's a new single, a new single, a new single, blah, it's just like noise. It's real hard. Like in the old days, I would pick up Circus Magazine or Rock Scene or whatever and go, new record by. There wasn't 1/1000th of as much stuff coming out. So this is a way to kind of cut through the noise. And I think you will find some gems, and I think you will become fans of some new and very deserving artists, and that uh, fame does not always equal talent, and talent does not always equal fame.
Okay. Yep.
So anytime you can find a gem, I think it's a good thing.
That's awesome. Michael, it has been an absolute pleasure. Fantastic time speaking with you,
Thank you. I
champ.
hope I didn't ramble and get off much, but I
No,
enjoy these type of
these
conversations.
things are basically a music geekasm is what it is. We want to get in, we want to discuss art, we want to discuss music, we want to get on tangents. It's part of what makes this fun. And thank you so much for doing this.
Thank both of you guys. I don't,
Every piece of beauty put into this world is important and appreciated, and you're putting some really beautiful stuff into the
Thank you,
world.
man.
So
That
thank
means a
you for
lot.
that.
And I take none of this for granted for anybody that gives me a forum to talk about this.
Yeah, excellent. Kiddos,
Guys,
you, you can find the new album as a limited edition double CD from the Beauty and Chaos store on CD and digitally on the Beauty and Chaos store and at beautyandchaosmusic.com or on Bandcamp. Germs and Gems, we have reached the end of another episode dedicated, as always, to our dear friend Jason Lupo. Shit's getting surreal out there, gang. Hang on to yourselves. Look out for each other. If you're hurting, please don't do it in silence. More people care about you than you think. I'm one of them. We're in this together. Love, hugs, and belly rubs. Cheers.
amen. That's beautiful words, my friend.